Yep.
Hello, Bob. Good afternoon.
Hi, Kim. Good afternoon to you too, or morning or evening. What time is it for you?
It's 7 a.m. here.
Okay, well, good morning. Okay.
Okay, Bob. So you are now live. I've made Kim co-host as well.
Okay, thank you, Harry. You have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Harry.
Good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Do you have other classes today that you're assigned to, Kim?
This is actually my first class. Well,
Okay.
yeah. I actually had a class earlier around 10 a.m., but something happened in my building. We had like patients here who has COVID. So we need to like reset the some wirings and all. So we had a power outage in the building because of that.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay.
Yes, we have like I think 10 of them has COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but it's the fourth floor, so I'm on the sixth, so
Okay.
I won't be going out.
Okay. Well, we'll get some people joining us now. If you want to admit them for me, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. Oh, we lost Kim. Hi, Yvonne. Good to see you again.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Akua. How are you?
Hi, Bob.
We have Kim from Get Set Up TAs. She's a teaching assistant. She's going to be helping out with the meeting and keeping an eye on chats, or if you have any questions or need a,
I need to get two more of those for
let us know.
the 16, the regular 16.
I'm sorry, Catherine, what were you, did you have a question?
And then also my niece has a
She might not have realized she was unmuted. Okay. Yeah, generally it's better to mute yourself unless you're asking a question on Zoom, because microphones can pick up a lot of noise in the background and other things. But once we get started, I may, if we get noise, I'll mute everyone. But sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen unexpectedly behind you, and it sometimes is a. It can be, if we were in a live classroom, I'd tell people to put their smartphones on silent mode, and we do that. So you're here for Zoom virtual backgrounds for beginners. Is that right, everyone? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'll do that
Bob,
then. Yeah, Kua, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
I like your kitchen picture.
Thank you. I still am working feverishly, trying to figure out how to get the video in the background. Still can't do it. I tried to contact Zoom, but that didn't help. Because they
Okay.
never asked me back.
Okay. You're trying to get the palm tree background, that one you mean?
Any kind of video running in the background.
And do you have an option in your Zoom virtual backgrounds to
I never see the option for video.
you never see the option for video? Okay. Uh,
Not on my desktop or cell phone.
okay, do you have do you know what kind of processor you have in your computer?
Well, you mean Windows? I'm on Windows 10.
But do you know what your CPU model is?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Okay. It could be a problem where you need um, you don't have a fast enough chip possibly, and Zoom isn't letting.
Okay, Bob, tomorrow I'm gonna go out and buy a computer, what do you call it? A laptop, not
Yeah,
a tablet, but a laptop. And I
laptop.
want to specifically make sure that it can handle background, Zoom background. So is there something I should be telling the salesman to make sure that they sell me this?
Yeah, yeah. You want to you can have them while you're talking to them. If you're going to a store or you're talking to them
Yeah.
online, in the email, and we're going to talk about it in class. You want to say, hey, these are the system requirements for Zoom virtual backgrounds. I want to make sure that I have a processor that will support that. Okay.
Support pictures.
Right.
Not pictures, but video.
Support video, correct. Yeah. Yeah. Because you need a more
Okay.
powerful CPU. Generally, most anything you buy in the probably $650, $700 price range will work. But the more you can afford, the better it is, particularly for video. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised my cell phone won't do it. And cell phone is $2,000, but
Yeah.
it doesn't give me the option to video.
Yeah. Yeah. Certain brands don't do it. I know. Well, we didn't think
Yeah.
about whether, when we bought technology, whether it was going to work with Zoom virtual backgrounds or not, did we?
No, we
We
wasn't
did.
thinking about COVID either.
Yeah, it's always something there. Right. Right. Okay. Well, welcome to Zoom Virtual Backgrounds for Beginners, everyone. And whether you have ever used a Zoom background or not, this class is to help you understand how they work, okay, and what you can do with them. I'm Bob Cohen. Let me back up there. My mouse is very sensitive to my finger, and for some reason it advances slides here. So I'm in Seal Beach, California right now, and I was born in Chicago in the Midwest, and my dad was a school teacher for the Chicago public school system. And when we would take Route 66 out to California every year to visit my grandmother. And I said, well, when I can, I want to go west. So I came out west to go to college and met my wife here, and settled down, raised my family here. And I've worked in the tech industry and owned my own internet company, and started a training company up in 2007, and been training adults how to use technology ever since then. So hopefully you will learn a little bit about technology from me today. As you know, with Get Set Up, we are a learning organization. We like to see people on camera because I can get their attention if they're waving or they're waving to me. I periodically glance over to the video so I can see what's going on, and we watch chat. We've got a teaching assistant, Kim, who is with us today, that'll be monitoring chat. I don't know if we've started recording. We're going to start recording now to make sure if you want a recording, you can get one after class by sending an email to help@getsetup.io. I believe we are live streaming this class, so we're live on YouTube and Facebook and Get Set Up TV. So for those of you that are joining us by live stream, set up an account with getsetup.io and register for classes so you can join us. And even though we might mention technology and products and other things, we aren't paid to promote anything specifically. Okay, so our objectives today are to try and help you understand the fact that you have to have a certain amount of computing power in order to support what is called virtual backgrounds. Yvonne has a virtual background behind her. I have one behind me. Akua has one behind her. So this virtual background feature is something that replaces what's really behind you with a picture instead of what's really behind you. That's what a virtual background is. And we'll take a look at how to change them, how to add them, understanding a few terms. We'll learn a little bit about desktops and smartphones and tablets, and take a look at some things like that. Hold on a second. I got to grab my tablet real quick because I put it somewhere else here today. Okay. So on Zoom virtual backgrounds here, we want to be able to access and use Zoom virtual backgrounds. And I'll give you some hints on a website you can use for finding some photos too. Okay, so the technical part of Zoom virtual backgrounds is the fact that you need a certain type of computer or certain speed of computer in order to use virtual background. So I'm going to switch my sharing screen to show you the website from Zoom. You're going to get a link for this from Zoom that's going to help you understand what is available to you in order to be able to use it. Now, some of this terminology is going to seem really challenging in some cases, but this article, it's from Zoom, it covers information about what you need to know in order to be able to use the virtual background feature in your Zoom account, okay? And basically what that requires you to do is it requires you to essentially make sure your computer or your smartphone is fast enough in order to do things. What do these things mean? Well, it's basically gets down to the speed of your computer. How fast is that CPU, which means you may need to check and make sure that the CPU in your computer is fast enough. Now, a couple of things you'll notice is that this article covers Windows computers. So Zoom works on Windows. Zoom virtual backgrounds work on Macs. They work on Linux. They work on iOS, which are iPhones and iPads, and they work on Android. But they don't work on all models. They need a certain speed of processor. Normally, the normal way of using Zoom is to use it as an image only without a physical green screen. And we'll talk about what a physical green screen is. It's actually a physical piece of green fabric. So when you see this physical green screen, they mean a real piece of fabric that you would be using. So Zoom tells you you need to use these supported CPUs, processors, Intel i3, 5th generation. Now we're in the 10th generation of Intel processors. So a 5th generation would have been 5 years ago. But if you don't have if you didn't buy this model of Intel chip in your computer 5 years ago, it's probably not fast enough to run virtual backgrounds. It'll run Zoom, but it won't run virtual backgrounds. Okay, so Intel i5, Intel i7, Intel i9, each one of these gets faster. And so you can see you can use a little bit older chip. And then AMD. Okay, so the other thing is video without a physical green screen. So you need to have newer processors, okay, to be able to use that. You have to have an i5 6th generation with 4 cores. Okay, so how do you find this out? Well, find the model number of your computer, look on a label. There should be a label on the bottom or the back or somewhere, and just do a Google search on it, and you'll typically get taken to the manufacturer's website, and you can get the specifications on that model.
Bob,
Now,
I have a question.
yeah,
Bob?
Yvonne.
I have one of my photographs as the back screen in the background, and yet my hair seems to be moving as though there's a wind.
Right. There's a couple of things that affect virtual backgrounds and the quality of things that show up, Yvonne. We'll talk a little bit about that, okay? because it has to do with things other than the processor itself. So we'll talk about the quality of a virtual background and what can affect it. Part of it can be affected by the speed of your computer, but it also can have to do with lighting, and it also has to do with your camera, your webcam quality as well. So those are things that cause the image to kind of fix what's called pixelate or fringe that may not be quite clear. So the first thing you got to check is what your processor is capable of doing. Okay, video puts a lot of work on your computer. Okay, and so Zoom is asking, just Zoom alone is video, but asking your computer to do both Zoom and virtual backgrounds puts even more load on the computer. It's like taking your car and loading it up with just driving up a hill with one person in it. But if you fill it up with, bags of soil and 4 people or something, it's going to take more work to go uphill. So it just takes more work to make the quality of the Zoom background work better.
This is not a video. How come there's the movement at the back?
Well, it's moving because of the quality of your virtual background
Okay.
functions. Okay.
Thank you.
That happens when you need more computing, or you need more lighting, or you need a better webcam. Okay. Those are all things that affect it. So let me go to slides here again. And I just want you to be aware that you're going to get a link to that in the handout. This is a green screen. They are physical pieces of fabric. The reason one is more expensive than another is because it comes with a frame or a bracket for holding it. But the fabric itself, the cloth itself, is not very expensive. Okay, a green screen can improve the quality of your virtual background because your camera is doing a couple of things. What happens is that I'm going to draw some very poor quality pictures here. So here's you, and you are looking at, Zoom, in this direction. And here is your webcam, okay, that is pointing at you. Okay, so your webcam is looking at you, and in the background, you might have a bookshelf, you might have a sofa, you might have a chair, other things here. So you could have a lot of things in the background here. Zoom and your camera and your computer are all working to try and figure out, okay, what is really behind you? What's here in this area? And they're saying, okay, I want to get rid of that, and I want to replace it with a picture, so that when you see someone on Zoom, they show up with a picture instead of what's really behind them. That takes a lot of work on the part of your computer, your web camera, and Zoom software. And so the quality can be improved if you use one of these green screens, because your camera can then say, hey, wait a minute, I'm just going to ignore what's bright green. I can just pay attention to one color, and I can just ignore that and replace it, everything that's bright green, with a photo. It's a replacement that takes place. So it's done in the software, it's done in the electronics. And so a green screen, a physical green screen, can sometimes help improve the quality of your virtual background appearance when you're using it. If you don't have as fast a computer, if you don't have good lighting, or if you don't have a good quality web camera. Okay. Generally, the web cameras and the microphones that come built into computers are not very good quality. At Get Set Up, they've equipped all of the guides that do classes with webcams, and microphones that are accessory ones that plug in so that we can communicate and you can hear us clearly and you can see us clearly as well. So that improves the quality. The other thing is lighting. So in front of, when you want to have lighting, you want to have lighting going at you that points at you from the front. So if your webcam is here, you don't want to have lighting coming at you from the back. You want to have lighting facing you. Let me draw a little nose here and eyes, and a smile, okay? You want to have lighting that faces you so it lights you up and not what is in back of you. And you might have noticed that sometimes you see people where their faces look really dark in the lighting. It's because they might have general purpose room lighting, but video quality images really require good lighting pointing at your face. And so I have two 100-watt lights on either side of my desk that light me up no matter what time of day I'm doing a Zoom meeting. So it's a combination of lighting, the quality, the speed of your computer, and the quality of your webcam that can all affect how good an effect you get with Zoom virtual backgrounds. I had one student in one of the classes that I did about a month ago. She went and bought, a $15, virtual background green screen and started using it. And she was able to do virtual backgrounds, whereas before her computer didn't work before. So sometimes a $15 piece of green fabric, but then you got to have that fabric up, all the time. You can't, while you're doing Zoom meetings, if you want it to work. So those are factors that can affect you for the quality of the Zoom background effect you'll get. Now, there's desktops and there are smartphones and tablets. Okay, the desktop app is Zoom app is an application that you've downloaded and used on your desktop. So I'm going to explain a few things about the desktop app first, and then I'll go into the mobile app. I'll show you a screen share on my iPad so you can see what happens when I do that. So one way to access the virtual backgrounds is when you're not in a meeting, you can just open the Zoom app and click on settings. And the settings option gives you the ability to select background and filters. And you'll see yourself on video. Turn your video camera on, and then you can click on the plus button to add a virtual background. That's one way to do it. Yeah, cool.
I want to know, I read somewhere about the color when you were talking about the colors of the green screen and the lighting, but it said that the camera can see better if you're wearing a different color than whatever your back screen is. Or was it referring to a different color other than green?
It's if you have a screen in back of you, it's typically green, although sometimes they're blue. 90% of the time they're green. And if you had green, like a green cap or a green scarf, the camera couldn't tell the difference between that background as easily. So you want to have a color that is different from the background, right?
Okay.
And so that helps a lot to makes it easier for the camera, for the software to say, oh, this is green, this is not green, and I can separate the two because it's working to separate those things in the software.
Okay.
Okay, so in this desktop app, one way to get to virtual backgrounds is to open up the desktop app, go to settings, go to backgrounds and filters, and then you can click on the plus button and select. You have to have your video camera on to see the preview. So you have to have your cam on. Another way to do it is starting a new meeting anytime. Anytime on your tablet, your phone, your desktop, you have to be logged into your Zoom account and have a Zoom account for this. But when you're not in a meeting, you can start Zoom on your desktop or smartphone and tablet and just click new meeting. And it'll just be a meeting with you, and you'll have access to all the meeting controls, just like you were in a meeting, like we're in now. When you're in a meeting now, or you have started a new meeting just for yourself, on the desktop app, the mobile app looks different. I will cover that in a minute. But on the desktop app, next to the video camera is a little arrow. And when you click on that arrow, it'll bring up the menu where you can select choose virtual background. Now, some people have said that they get a message that says your computer doesn't support virtual backgrounds here. And so it may be an issue where your computer is just not fast enough and Zoom is telling you that right away. But if it shows up as choose virtual background, because then you'll have this screen popping up. And then when you select you'll have some images that may appear. If all you see is none, it may be that you don't have the capability of using the virtual background. So sometimes if you click, I have a green screen, that may let you use virtual backgrounds with a green screen. But maybe if you don't want to do that, your computer may not be fast enough. And Zoom will give you a couple of standard images to select from, but you can add your own image and you can add your own video if you want to. And then if you click on add image or add video, it brings up folders on your computer that you can select an image or a video that you can use for your virtual background. You just have to know where to find the photo is all. So as long as you know where to find the photo, you can find it and just select it, click open, and then you'll get a new virtual background that'll show up behind you on your screen. You'll get a preview of it. So this is what other people will see for your virtual background. Any questions? You can try it out, but we're going to go through it step by step a couple of times, okay? Now, anybody have tablets or smartphones? They're trying to work with you. Okay.
I have a tablet.
Okay.
I have a computer
Yeah.
and I have an iPad.
Okay.
That smartphone and desktop.
Yeah, mine is a desktop computer and an
Okay.
iPad.
Okay. Now,
iPad.
that's one of the things I will tell you is that if you set up your virtual background on your desktop, it's not going to be the same as on your phone or your tablet. It has to be set up on each device separately, okay? Because the picture is stored on whatever device you're using. So if you set up a virtual background on your desktop and you join a Zoom meeting from your iPad or your smartphone, you won't see the same picture. You have to set up the virtual background on each separate device.
Wow.
Now it's because the picture it uses the app to make sure that virtual backgrounds work. Now on phones, when you are looking at your Zoom screen in a meeting, you typically will see 3 dots that say more. And when you tap on that, it'll bring up a menu, and it'll bring up a menu for and if a virtual background appears in that, your device typically will support virtual backgrounds, okay? If you don't see the virtual background option on your smartphone or tablet, it usually means your device does not support virtual backgrounds because there's more restrictions on smartphones. So iPhone 8s and newer will support virtual backgrounds, and most Android models at the high end, but a lot of Android models are slower processors that don't have the speed to support virtual backgrounds. On tablets, there's also the navigations just at the top is all, instead of at the bottom. Okay. Okay, so any questions about tablets or smartphones before I start showing you how it works on a desktop?
I looked at a picture from off of my iPad, and then the picture's in reverse.
Okay, when you have a picture on your iPad, you have to use the Photos application to mirror, to revert, to change the picture. Zoom that won't do that for iPads or iPhones, so you have to do it in the Photos app to change it.
Okay.
So once you get it changed in the Photos app, then it'll be okay in Zoom. All right, so let's take a look at my desktop. Okay, I'm going to show you my whole desktop so you can see everything that's going on, because you have to see everything that's going on for me to show you this. Okay, so now you're looking at my whole desktop, okay? And you see the gallery view that I see. And at the bottom left corner of my Zoom window is the microphone symbol and the video camera symbol. And next to the video camera symbol is a little up arrow. Now you'll see mine and you'll see your own as well. Okay, so if I click on the up arrow next to the video camera, it brings up a menu. And what I want to select is choose virtual background. Voila. Okay. Oh my gosh, I get a new pop-up on the screen here. This is my settings screen, and it automatically selected background and filters for me. So I'm going to do that again. Okay. I go to the video camera, look for the little arrow, click on that, go to choose virtual background. Okay. So now I can choose a virtual background from ones that I have used before. Or I can add one by clicking the plus button here. Okay, and it says add image or add video. I'm just going to do an image right now. So I'm going to click on add image. It brings up a set of file folders here. So I can look in my documents, my pictures, but I've set aside a folder, and I recommend you create a folder on your computer for virtual backgrounds so you know where to find them if you ever want to use them again. Okay, so if I want to use a picture of a sunset that I have, I can select the image and I click open, and voila, I've got a new virtual background. Okay. If I want to select a different picture, I can go to add image and I can select an iceberg. Okay, and I'm standing in front of icebergs, or sitting in front of icebergs now. So you can change the virtual background to a photo as long as you know where to find the photo by doing this and clicking the plus button. Now you'll see as I've added virtual backgrounds from this class, I get a collection that just keeps on getting added. I don't know how many it will store for me, but it seems to be keeping almost all of them for me. So if I want to switch to another one, I can switch to an office, I can switch to a cottage garden, or I can switch to some tigers, as well. So you can select them when you're looking at this screen on virtual backgrounds. Now here's the button. If I had a real green piece of fabric behind me, I would click on I have a green screen if I wanted to improve the quality of my virtual background. But this is pretty good. Now I have a fast computer, I have a good lighting, and I have a good webcam. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a webcam, but something that's rough, $80, $100 will do the job for you. Costco even sells a good one And I think I saw it the other day for like $69 or something like that. If you want a bookshelf, but where to, we're going to talk about where to get pictures. Okay. So anybody have any questions about doing it on your desktop? Okay. Okay. It's not hard to do. And
Okay, I do have a question. When you hit the video section and it says choose virtual background, does that mean that your computer is capable of doing the background?
usually, but not always. Okay. Because sometimes you can check on that and it'll just say none and it won't give you anything else to look at. And so you won't have any other option available other than none. But if you click on I have a green screen, it might let you choose a virtual background. So your computer might be fast enough to do it if you have a green screen. Okay, but it might not be fast enough to do it without a green screen.
I have a question. This is Carol Longden, and I've never been in
Cheryl.
class before. And I'm just wondering why all the other people that are on here, except for two, besides me, have their picture there. I clicked join with video and my picture never came up.
Okay. If you look at the bottom of your Zoom window,
Uh-huh,
which has the video camera,
right?
does it have a line through it?
No,
Okay. Then there's something going wrong with your webcam. Okay. That's something that's going wrong, because when you have your video camera says, it doesn't have a red line through it,
uh-huh.
your face should be on the Zoom window.
Yeah, it always is when I have my classes like for Bible study fellowship or something, but this time it didn't.
Okay.
I had a class this morning and it always just pops. If you click on join with video,
Yeah.
but your little thing when I came in didn't say join with video. It just put me in.
Well, I don't know why, it might have been different with Zoom
Yeah.
or something, but usually it does say, it lets you join with, it joins with video automatically.
Yeah.
And will show you there. But if your video camera doesn't have a line through it, then there's something I would, if it still is a problem, or if it's just, because Zoom connects you up to the meeting, not anything that Get Set Up does or anything like that.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So, but you can send an email to help@getsetup.io, and there'll be people that'll get a hold of you to help you out if it's a problem again. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
I
So
want to choose a background without seeing how it looks.
yeah, you can't turn the video camera on at all. Then you're not going to be able to see a virtual background, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's one way to do virtual background. So let me try doing it with my iPad and see if I can share my screen with you on my iPad. Okay, hold on a second.
Oh, now it does have a line through it.
Tap the line, tap the video.
Okay, so now I am sharing my iPad screen. Okay, you're actually viewing me through my iPad camera. You can see the difference between how my image looks with the iPad versus how it looked with my desktop webcam, right? It's a little different quality. So what you'll see in the upper right, I can't point to this very easily with the tools that I have on my iPad to show you, but in the upper right, there is a 3-dot button called More. Okay. So if I tap on More, one of the options that pops up in that list is background and filters. I would tap on background and filters, and that brings up the background window. Okay, it's showing me on my iPad camera, and it shows the background in the right-hand corner. The first time you do backgrounds on a phone or a tablet, it will ask you for, Zoom will ask you for permission to access your photos on your device. It's a privacy feature that Apple builds in and Android usually builds in that says, we're not going to let anything get to your photos unless you say it's okay. But if you want to use the virtual background feature on Zoom, you have to give it permission to do it. So if you do that, then you'll have the ability to tap a plus button, just like on the desktop, and the plus button will list all your photos. So if I wanted to use a photo of, say, a Christmas scene, I can select that photo and then I tap done, and it changes my virtual background to that scene on my iPad. And I'm looking at this on my iPad, not on my desktop. So you're actually seeing my iPad camera, and this is my virtual background on my iPad. There's an option for green screen on tablets, but no option for video. So it's just a different way of getting to it and getting to the photos that you might need to use on your device with an iPad or a smartphone, okay? So a lot will depend on the speed of your computer, because the computer is doing a lot of work. It's saying, I want to separate what's really behind you from, and say, I want to ignore that and replace it with a picture. And so the ability of your webcam to make that out, the amount of lighting that you have. I don't know if you've ever seen TV shows about TV shows where they make they're filming in the studio. They have a lot of light, a lot of bright lights in TV studios, because the cameras need a lot of light to really work very effectively. So the more light you can put on yourself, the better your camera can help you out in separating you from whatever's behind you. Otherwise, you'll get some phantom effects where it's not really clear, what's you and what's really behind you. And so that's why the virtual backgrounds requires that capability. So any questions about this so far? I see some of you are trying some virtual backgrounds, and some of you are discovering that, okay, maybe your computer is not quite fast enough for it to be able to make it out. And maybe you've got to have a green screen or something like that. But those are the things that do make a difference in it, which is one reason why, the Get Set Up organization shipped webcams and microphones to everybody, because they know that quality webcams make a difference in how we look on camera. I'm not going to make us look, turn us into movie stars, but we can hope, right? I was looking for that camera. I said, I want the camera that's going to make me look like Brad Pitt, but I didn't get that one in the mail. Okay. So I see some of you are trying some virtual backgrounds. You can see it sometimes works okay, and sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, so that's usually the speed of your computer, but also it can be the lighting, having a lot of lighting. I have two 100-watt lights on either side of me that are lighting me up. That helps. But I also have an accessory webcam. It wasn't an expensive one. It was like $80, but it works really well. Because you could see when I was on my iPad, the webcam I have on my desktop produces a much sharper image than what I had on my iPad. Yeah, Betty, you got a question?
Okay, I did check. I do have background and filters on my tablet, but it has none there. So I have to load pictures on there.
Right. Yeah. Your iPad the iPad version of Zoom does not come standard with any images at all. You have to tap the plus sign and add whatever it'll look at your photos that you have in your Photos application on your iPad, and it'll let you select any one of those photos for your virtual background. So as long as you photo in your Photos album on your iPad, you can select it for your virtual background.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Yep, yeah. And so, I mean, iPads are pretty good at it. You know, I mean, really old models are a little slower, but iPads do a really nice job with virtual backgrounds. And so, you know, we think, well, you know, our computer is working fine for most of the reason, and you can use your computer with Zoom. It's not that Zoom won't work, but it's just that the virtual background feature is something you may want to have working on Zoom as well. Okay, so if you're not a great photographer, which not all of us are. Yeah, Betty, do you have another question?
Yes. Now,
Sure.
is there a website that we can go to and select different backgrounds to add on?
Yes, I'm going to show you one that I like, and let me find it. Let me make sure I stop sharing here so I can make sure that we do this right. Okay, let me get a website open, and there we go. Now I can show you the screen. I'm going to show you a website that I go to, and there's actually a class I just did on where to find free photos on the internet that covers dozens of sites. But this is something called Pixabay, and I'm going to put it in chat.
Oh, okay, good.
And you're going to get a link to this in the email. There's another one called Pexels. There's about a half a dozen of them. So what do you think you might want for a background picture, Betty? Give me an idea.
Well, I was thinking of something springy looking for, you know, this time of year. I like those lavender flowers right there that
You like
got.
that? Okay.
I love that. Yes.
These are asters. And so if I wanted to use this photo, website has 2.2 million photos, videos, and music, all for free.
Oh,
I mean, that might not be enough for you, right? But
I think it is.
I think it is. Okay, so if I want to get this photo, I can click on it, and you might have to set up an account with them. It's free in order to download photos, but this photo is free, a free download. So I just click on free download, and it's going to download the photo to my download folder on my desktop. Okay. Okay. And now I can, if I can find it in my download folder, it'll be available for me to use as a background image. Yeah.
Okay.
Akua, you got a question?
I had a free account with Zoom, 40 minutes, but I went on ahead and joined. Paid or whatever, pro or whatever they call it. And my question is, I paid them through Zoom on my cell phone, but is it a way you can merge my Zoom account, my ID number on the cell phone and the laptop and
as long as you're using the same email address and that you used to log into Zoom, Zoom considers you one account. That's all it is. So it just depends on how you log in from your phone when you log into Zoom, or when you log in from your laptop or desktop or tablet. It's one account. Yeah, just depends on your email, the address that you use. Okay, so we've downloaded this image. Let me go back to sharing my whole desktop again. And let's see if I can find it. Now, the trick is to find out where it is on my computer. that I can show it to you. So let's see if I've got this shared. There we go. Okay, so if I go to my video camera and click on the up arrow to go to choose virtual backgrounds, there's my pop-up window with background and filters. I click on the plus button and I want to add image. Now, this is in my downloads folder. So I have to find my downloads folder here. And I think it's here. So let's see if I can find this picture here. I don't know whether it's here or this one. Let's see if it's this one. I don't know if that's the right picture, but we'll try it out. And I didn't check the name. Okay, but I think it might be the right one. Oh, that's the tiger picture. So this is where you have to really be careful about making sure you know where the picture is. I'm going to move the picture on my desktop out of my download folder and into my desktop, so it's a little bit easier for me to find. So I now go to add image and I go to my desktop. There is the photo. Okay, I remember that was the name of it. So now if I click open, it'll put that image behind me. It'll put that image behind me. So the trick is making sure the choose virtual background arrow and the plus button, you kind of get in the habit of doing that. The trick is making sure you can find where the photo ended up on your computer. And I always take things, there's usually a download folder where photos are downloaded to on computers when you download something from the internet. And I typically will drag it out of there, put it on the desktop, or move it into a folder that I use for backgrounds or other things like that. So it's just easier to find. But that's all there is to it. So, I mean, I know I make it look simple, but try it out. Try it out, you know. And so like I say, we can go to Pexabay again. You know, we can look for something else like these flowers. You know, maybe we like these. This is a premium. Be careful when you're on these sites. Sometimes they will take you to a premium offer that costs money. So they do have a free area that is available. So if we want to look for spring, flowers are common, but these are other pictures of spring. Okay. Who doesn't like, you know, we got a spring bird here. Magnolia trees, you know, other tree and nature wood, leaves, foliage, whichever one, you know, you like to use. So this crocus looks interesting. I'm going to download it.
Bob, I have a question. Is this the same for Zoom?
I'm sorry?
Is this the same procedure for Zoom?
Could you repeat that again, Yvonne?
Sorry, I mean video.
Video is the same for video.
Video.
Yeah, but if they have a video available, you can download a video as well. So, but video means you have to have make sure your computer is fast enough to support video. But if I want to go to choose virtual background, I'll go to add image. And I saved it on my desktop. So there's the crocus. And I click on open, and there it is. Okay. So now that's my virtual background. Most of the time, like 99% of the time, the next time you log into Zoom, that will be your virtual background for what you're using. Now, I did have a video that I downloaded that's just, a tree kind of shaking in the background. And as long as you have a fast enough computer to support that, but you can download videos from these sites as well. So if you like a beach video or something, you can always download it, make it available. It just loops automatically over and over again whenever you want to use it. And then it just starts a new playing all over again. And so you can download. Zoom will give you a couple of standard photos, but most of the photos that I have in my selection are ones that I've downloaded. They give you a space shot, a Bay Area bridge, some grass, and a few videos, like typically they'll give you the beach video like this and an aurora borealis like this, as long as your computer can support them. But you can use these, tools to download and try videos as much as you want. But again, it doesn't affect your ability to use Zoom. It really just affects your ability to use the virtual background feature on Zoom. I can see Leanne's got a new virtual background. Hiroko's got one. Yvonne, okay. So different ones will work. Evelyn, I don't see you on camera, but it looks like your camera's on. So I'm not sure what your camera is pointing at or whether it might be covered. Sharon got a virtual background going. Akua's got a virtual background going. So it's just a matter of if it's something that interests you. Now, obviously, for things like a birthday party or a theme like springtime, it helps to make the Zoom, makes you, first of all, you want it to make you look better, right? So some colors might work better with your skin tone than others. I mean, it's just a matter of what background color is going to work right or not for you, and trying some different ones out. But also, if you want to be more official, you can have a logo background. A lot of colleges have virtual backgrounds as well. So check, your school, check organizations, check, holidays. So if you want to look like, okay, everybody wants a bookshelf behind them. You look at news interviews and things, everybody's got that bookshelf background. But I, went to the Rose Parade a couple of years ago and took pictures there. Or you want to show a sunset picture, just kind of set the mood, for where you are and what you're doing, just to have a little bit of fun with it when you're trying things out. For those of you that wonder what this Mirror My Video does, watch what happens to the Get Set Up logo when I click that. It reverses. So on the desktop, you do have the ability to use this Mirror My Video button to reverse a picture. But on iPhones and iPads, you've got to edit the picture in the photo editing app itself.
Okay.
So these are some options you can take advantage of on Zoom virtual backgrounds that you can enjoy and highlight and try out and see how they work. Find one you like and start using it. See if it's something that helps to create a theme for something you might want to do, or lets people know what you're up to, or what your interests are, or what your topics are, and things like that. So there are lots of places that are out there, and you can even do a search for Zoom virtual backgrounds on the internet and find some things out there too. Well, it sounds like some of you got some virtual, and Akua, if you go, make sure you have that salesperson or whoever is helping you out, look up that website for Zoom virtual background requirements when you buy your computer. Okay.
Okay.
Most new ones will work, but the faster the computer, and also what happens as you go up in price on computers, they usually give you a better webcam, but not always. Okay. But and then also I recommend you buy it from a place that has a liberal return policy, because if you get it home and you try it out, it doesn't work, it would be nice to be able to return it if it doesn't do the job you want it to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Costco is very good about return policies, and others are good as well, but Costco is probably one of the best ones out there from what people have told me. I've used them as well. Okay. All right.
Okay, when I said choose background, it said none. Is there a way that I can get the background?
You can try clicking the plus button and doing that. Or you can try clicking I have a green screen, because maybe your computer's not fast enough to do it without a green screen is all.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, sure. Let me do a few closing slides here and take your, so we've learned a little bit about technology and the fact that, you know, video and virtual backgrounds require a certain speed computer. There are ways on your desktop to do it. It doesn't matter whether you have a free or a paid account with Zoom, virtual backgrounds works with them. You know, I've showed you a website where you can get some free photos and images as well. So if you want to learn more about Zoom, or, you know, we offer lots of Zoom classes. A couple of classes I do, they're not necessarily next, but I do some classes on creating custom virtual backgrounds with slide software like PowerPoint. And I do a class on Zoom whiteboard and annotations. And we just did a class for the first time today on finding free photos on the internet. If, you know, I'm hoping it'll be popular enough that people, because I go over like half a dozen resources you can find for photos for. You're going to get an email with links to the websites that I mentioned and some tips on things with virtual backgrounds. And we encourage you to spread the word, those of you that have been taking classes with us a lot, and thank you. I know I've seen some familiar faces. You know, suggest a class you'd like to see. You can request a recording by sending an email to help@getsetup.io. Thank you for coming today. And hopefully, you know, if you upgrading your computer for Zoom virtual backgrounds, that's great. You know, just make sure it's something that that when you get it home and you start using it, it's going to work for you, okay, and help you out.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming and joining today. Appreciate it. Betty, to get the class, you just have to send an email to help@getsetup.io. We don't audit, we'll send out a follow-up email with links.
Help@getsetup.io.
Help@getsetup.io. Yes.
I got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betty, for joining us. Cool, good to see you again.
All right.
Hiroko, Juan, yeah. All right, thanks. We'll join you again soon, okay? Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.